Hey, what's up, Arrowheads, and welcome to the Arrow Recap Show here on Collider Video. My name is Campea, and I'm so happy to be back and joining you guys.
We're so happy that you are back.
Season 4, Episode 9. It's our mid-season finale titled Dark Waters. Like I said, I'm so sorry I missed last week's crossover. It was epic, but I watched you guys, and you guys are amazing. So joining me are my favorite people, starting with Josh Macuga to my right.
Hey, Ann. Yeah, great to have you back. I'm pretty excited about this episode. I wasn't on board with it at first, but I think I am.
Oh, it's growing on you.
Yes.
Okay, and Michael Medina.
Hey guys, what's up? I'm Michael Medina. I'm with you. I was okay with it, but then, Mr. Jason over here, we're talking about some theories, which really have me just geeking out right now.
Geek explosion over there.
Oh, yeah.
And Jason Inman.
And I'm so happy to have you back. And I didn't have to drink any dark waters to say that. I actually have a lot of things to say about this episode, and it might be my favorite of the season.
Woo!
Yeah.
Ooh, so let's get into it because I'm excited to hear what you guys have to say. If you want to join us in this conversation, make sure to tweet us using the hashtag ColliderArrow, as well as subscribe to Collider Video if you want to leave a comment after this video is posted. So let's go into our overall impressions of tonight's episode, and I've kind of heard what you guys thought about it. Personally, I thought it was a very good episode. I thought there was enough action. I thought everyone was involved in tonight's episode, and I actually didn't realize it was the mid-season finale until one of you pointed it out like 2/3 through the episode. So the fact that I didn't know that, and I still very much enjoyed it and embraced it.
This is the leader of our group. Did not know it was mid-season finale.
We run a tight ship here.
So are you now so mad with that ending? You're just like, I gotta wait a month for that?
But now I get it, right?
Okay.
Now I get that way that it ended.
That was very telenovela.
Yes, exactly. So Josh, what did you think?
Yeah, I there's one thing that I sort of have problems with is Damien Darhk is always doing like the, things move and he can do all the head things.
The Force,
basically, and then whenever he's like attacking one person, he's never really paying attention to the other person that's attacking him. So he's only like a one force thing. I've always thought he's like unbeatable because he can do all this stuff. But I like the play here that they're not making him seem somewhat vulnerable, like that they can attack him. And I thought that those scenes with Damien Darhk were the highlights of the episode for me. That's what, like, my overall thing. This was like Damien Darhk's vehicle, and he drove the shit out of it.
Nice.
I agree with you. I've been saying since, we first got introduced to Damien Darhk on the show, Neil McDonough is great. Fantastic actor. He's killing it as Damien Darhk. But yeah, I thought the episode moved a little slow. I was comparing it to last season's mid-season finale, which I absolutely loved, that mid-season finale. It wasn't quite as impactful as that one for me, but nonetheless, talking about all the predictions that we had and what's down the line, hopefully really just amplified the whole episode for me.
All right, Jason?
Yeah, I'm at the point to where Arrow's back. I think Arrow has completely, at this point, recovered for me, the low point of season 3. And I think that this episode was the perfect example of this really, really sweet gelling that they finally figured out with this series. Because when they started this season, I'm not a huge fan of Oliver and Felicity. But I think this episode and having all the previous episodes kind of sold me on it. I'm not 100% sold on the John Diggle costume. This kind of sold me on it. I think I'm even kind of coming to terms with Laurel as Black Canary, because this episode had a great moment for all of them, had a great moment with them all as a team, and had a villain that produced some very high stakes. And I felt that, with the exception of a couple weak scenes, a couple weird scenes that we'll talk about, I thought this was like, oh wow, season 4 all gelled in this episode.
Completely agree. I was happy with the direction of it as well. I liked how the camera angles were going. I loved, like you said, a lot of powerful scenes between people that you would not necessarily think would have those types of scenes if you were talking
Malcolm
about
and
season
Lance
3.
had a great scene, for God's sake. Yeah.
And can I just say that I will trademark Dark Vader? Thank you very much.
Sure.
If anyone gets that reference.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go into our positives of this episode, because for me, I really did enjoy it. So I feel like we would have a lot. Michael, do you have any?
You know what? I liked Lance in this episode. I liked Dance. We were joking around about
our shipper name,
Dance. Our shipper name, Dance.
You can dance if you want to.
He even had the red lipstick on his cheek.
I like that little touch. No, I like how last season he was kind of like whatever, always in the dark and not knowing what was going on. This season I feel like he has more to do.
He's still in the dark.
He's still.
Hey!
Bravo. The show. You guys are welcome. Michael, you're up next for the dark.
No, but I just feel like like you were saying earlier about everybody gelling as a team. I feel like this season, unlike last season, everyone has a purpose.
Yes.
You know, and that's what I like, and that's what I'm seeing with Lance. He's stepping up. Lance was great in this episode.
I mean, you know what they say, every girl crazy about a dark-dressed man.
Crossover with AOS. I like
Michael's the last one.
You're up, Medina.
I thought
pressure.
this episode had a lot of great lines of dialogue. Like when Dark walked into the campaign holiday party scene and he said that, "Oh, a Malabak, my favorite red." And when Malcolm
badass.
called Laurel out for her bondage outfit, like there were so many good like superhero zingers in this episode, and like you were like, "Oh, that's cool," and it just helped make all the scenes a lot more fun. But to me, I think the greatest positive of this episode is that Damien Darhk stepped up to the villain plate and delivered.
Yeah.
Delivered in full. Like he finally, because we've talked about before, like there were been some previous episodes where he kind of just sat behind a desk and just admired his blue lights.
Yeah.
But this, like, he threw 3 people in a gas chamber and was like, they're gonna die.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he sympathized with Nazis.
Yes.
And I even like that scene. It was a little cliche, but at the end when he meets his family, you hear like Christmas music playing. It's like a little montage of, you see the action in one scene and then him with his family. Everything's all nice, putting a star on the tree, and I like that.
Yeah,
Yes.
you saw every angle of Damien Darhk, right? Like you saw his motivation. He reiterated it in this episode. You saw all of the action, how badass he can be, but then you get the lighthearted side, and you know kind of what he would personally be fighting for if somebody bigger and badder than him was after him, would be that family that we saw at the end.
What was his line? Like, sometimes humanity needs a reset button or something
Yes,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Something like that. That was a really good line. You know what I think some of my favorite stuff was? A lot of times, and I think you said it, was Lance always kind of seems like he's on the outside, like following the team. This one, he was part of the team, which I really liked. And one of the things I thought we were going to get was like, Laurel finds out that her dad has been working with Damien Darhk, and they have a thing, and then she finds out that Oliver is known too. And they didn't make it this whole like complaining. I can't believe you would
that's
do
what
it.
they would have done in season 3.
Agreed.
And they would have made it like
Yeah.
a 3-episode arc. But in this one, it's like one scene and it's out.
Right, like season 3, she wouldn't even showed up. She's like, I'm not supporting you guys. You lied to me. This one, she's like, okay, shit needs to happen, and we did it because we all need to take down Dark, and we got to work our angles because this is like unlike any enemy we fought. And I'm really glad that's how they did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to your point, Malcolm Merlin has kind of just weaved himself into the group as well, and seamlessly, although he shows up awkwardly, like he'll come from
Again,
weird dark corners.
2 episodes in a row.
Yes, but he's worked perfectly with the group as well. And then in this episode, one of my positives was seeing Malcolm Merlin in that Green Arrow suit.
Yes.
It was a little tight, a little snug. I think he's a little bit bigger than Oliver is, but needless to say, I think he looked good and he operated well in it.
Well, that brings up something that I wanted to ask the panel, and this is kind of a crazy question. So, Malcolm was in the Green Arrow outfit, and he got very close to Dark. Now, Dark has fought Oliver in the Green Arrow outfit twice now, like once on the train, and then the episode before the crossover. Right before Oliver went on TV and was like, "This is Damien Darhk. Look at his picture." He was standing with Diggle, Thea, and Laurel, and Felicity just off the side of the cameras. Now, everybody, all the press, the cameras, could totally see that whole group. They all leave. Oliver comes over there and is like, "Dark, we're coming for you." How can Dark not put 2 and 2 together when the same group of vigilantes that keep attacking him have the same dynamics and gender as the vigilantes that keep attacking him?
True. Yeah, that's a
I
good
don't
point.
have a
It's
response
just
for that.
like how people can't figure out Clark Kent's Superman.
Yeah,
Because he vibrates his
Because he has
face.
the glasses on. Come on now. There were, for me, very real scenes, and I don't want to go outside of this episode, but the fact that, they were dealing with a terrorist attack, Oliver stepped up to the plate, in my opinion, and gave a very good mayoral speech. And he kind of calmed the city down and kind of brought power and strength.
a good speech.
To back
I like
the
that.
city. Yeah, very, very powerful scenes, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Do you guys have anything on that?
I'm really liking how he's treating this campaign. I think it's been really good. Like, they haven't over-cheesed it politician wise. It hasn't been, like in our face too much about it. He's actually been, he's pretty much the mayor. He doesn't really have to run for mayor because he's sort of running unopposed, but when he's doing his stuff, he's sticking to his guns, and he's not like flipping out. Like we're seeing a really cool vulnerable side of Oliver, but I did like when they kidnapped everybody and we saw like the season 1 Oliver when he's just beating those high guys into pieces.
I like that too, where he's just beating the crap out of people. Where is he?
Yeah, like Robert De Niro in Casino just kicking people. Yeah, it was awesome.
I will say the mayoral stuff is, or him running for mayor, is really making me excited that I hope he wins the election. Because him in control of the police force, I think, will create such an interesting season 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought all like the politics was going to end up being really boring, but I like, was it Diggle that told him about just fighting Dark in the light, I believe it was. But I like how aggressive he's been, like equally aggressive, you know, running for mayor as he would as the Green Arrow. And I like, just like I said earlier about that speech, I mean, that was just like, that was almost like Green Arrow giving that speech. Like he was just that, I love that aggression coming from him.
Yeah.
Oh, completely. And I will say, I think you guys know where my vote lies. Queen for mayor. Yeah, so let's talk about Queen's Christmas party, because there's no
holiday party.
Holiday party. Sorry,
Holiday
Felicity.
party.
Because there's no CW show.
Okay, I'll be
without
taking
a
the episode
party.
from now.
Okay, there you go. Not to alienate anyone. Holiday party. Typical CW fashion. Shit goes down, but you know what? The party must go on. So, what did you guys think of the holiday party?
Worst Christmas tree in television history.
Well, in the finale.
Yeah.
It's a little cheesy. The CW always does this. Although, to be honest with you, I think The Flash is more guilty about this than Arrow. Like, at least with Arrow, I can kind of get like, okay, he has to have a holiday party because he has donators. You know, he wants to get voters out there. Like in last night's episode of The Flash, and I know this is not the Flash.
Donors,
my bad. Donators.
Like, I was putting it in my head. I'm like, donators?
They're like the Terminators, except with money. But the Flash had like a scene last night that was all about like, let's sing Christmas carols and wear ugly sweaters. Yeah. So like, thank God that Arrow didn't have that scene. But it's CW. CW does that with all their shows. They always have to have the cheesy Christmas episode.
Sure. Yeah. And if you were to take Arrow's costume, make it a little bit brighter green, and put them next to Flash, they'd be Christmas colors.
Look at that.
Cute. Look at that. But look, I have to think, you know, they had to be smart enough to know you put Damien Darhk's picture on camera. Everyone in the city has seen it. And then you say, we're going to move forward and have this holiday party. Don't you figure you should keep at least like a stack of arrows in the corner just in case he decides to show up at this public holiday party? I just thought, for me, and if we're going into negatives, but we might have some more positives, that was one of my negatives, is the fact that they underestimated that Darhk would show up to this party.
My negative is that when Darhk showed up to the party, that Roy Harper in an Arsenal outfit did not show up as personal security, and that was his return to the show. And Oliver's like, I called him my good buddy. We're all good.
That'd been cool.
That would have been smart. That would have been smart.
That's my
Especially
negative.
with the holiday colors, red and green.
And then,
Any other positives or negatives from you guys?
Well, negative for me, I'm not really a big fan of Andy Diggle.
Andy? Oh, yeah. Andy Diggle.
Yeah,
like
Andy
this
Diggle. I'm just not. I thought I was really looking for something, but and kind of like we said earlier about how Laurel and that whole scene just kind of moved forward relatively quick. I feel like this is just dragging. Now I get fine. It's got to take its time, whatever. But I just feel like there's just, whenever I see Diggle going down to that cage, I'm just like, checking my phone.
Yeah.
You know, I lose interest in it. I don't know if it's just the actor himself or just.
And we were
the
supposed to
story.
For me, it's the actor.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what's bothering me.
I mean, we were led to believe this whole show that Andy died and he was a great guy, and then they spring it on us that not only is he high, but he was a bad guy before all this stuff, and now he's just an a-hole in a cage.
Yeah.
You know? And so, I don't really have much.
Well, let me throw this out there. Should they have left him dead? Should this whole storyline been about who killed him and we find his killer? What do you guys think? Like, he's
I think
alive.
that might have been more interesting.
Should they have left him dead?
I don't know. I think either way, I'm just a little disappointed because then it's kind of rehashing for me, us trying to figure out who killed Sarah last season, right? So it's like another one of the regurgitated storylines. And for a character where I cared about Sarah, I don't really care about Andy. I have no investment in Andy right now. Do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, no, there's, because it starts like season 1 and he really only goes on about it for like a couple episodes, really, right? Like,
and it's like the first time you meet him, and then a couple other times.
His brother, and then there's a couple times when they like touch on it briefly. So for us to be invested in this, we really haven't seen Diggle being like, "It's my brother," because he hasn't been.
No.
Yeah.
And so for us to be like, well, dude, your brother was a bad dude. It's really not that big a deal. Like, I understand the only reason they're keeping him around is so they can get information on Dark, which they're not getting.
Yeah.
So again, it's really not doing anything for me. I think it's.
Ooh, let me throw out a crazy theory.
Here we go. Yes.
Okay.
We should have like
Brace
a
yourself.
bell.
What if Andy Diggle breaks out of his cage and kills the person in the grave?
Oh. Despite all my rage, I'm still just riding a cage.
Damn. I need something.
All right, I'm
good.
I'm leaving this out.
Just crazy idea. What if that's the only reason they're keeping him around as the ticking time bomb to kill our character?
And he kills Diggle.
Could very well be that
Yeah.
that would be that type of character that is
Yeah.
expendable, right?
Because honestly, right now, what other purpose is he serving
Yeah.
in the storyline?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Besides
Right.
to get Diggle a scene to like look at your pictures of your family. You didn't ask for pictures.
I like that he didn't mention that he dated his.
Your daughter.
I like that Diggle left out the part that he dated. His
No, he did.
Yeah. Like, you totally forgot about that.
Oh, by the
too.
way, your wife worked at a bad fast food joint. It's probably shut down because we haven't seen it since season 1.
Her and I did kind of get on.
Yeah, we did get a little friendly.
But if I made one other negative I had, I didn't care for the flashbacks at
Thank
all.
you.
in
I
this
have that here.
episode.
Yeah.
Here's
At
the
all.
only part of the flashback that was cool. The last part when those dudes show up and they're like, "You're a spy. You've been doing." They find him out. So
Yeah.
now we're gonna see Oliver, kind of be taken back and somehow take these dudes down. But yeah, the CGI underwater was terrible.
Terrible.
He's swimming like he's Aquaman. There's a shark that comes after him that looks like a shark in a video
Waterproof
game.
paper?
Yeah, waterproof paper that it's been under a ship for we don't know how long.
Years.
And he's like, it hasn't run. Look. You're like, oh, okay.
Josh, it's magic.
Sorry. That's my bad.
And I'm a little lost. Can anyone explain to me why that woman is important?
No.
She gave him some diving
Really?
lessons.
I know,
think,
I
maybe?
understand. He's just trying to be the Oliver Queen that saves people and helps people. But is there anything beyond that at this
No.
point that we're inferring that she has
No.
a purpose for?
No.
Okay. There it is.
There you go.
I tried.
My big negative of this episode, I have a big negative and I have a tiny negative. My big negative is that I did not like the Ring storyline. That was where we got silly and we got campy. And just at the point where I was like, okay, I can accept this Felicity Oliver thing. Then Felicity's like, oh my God, he was going to ask me. And I'm like, you are a computer genius. What is wrong with you?
Yeah, it felt out of place in this episode.
Exactly. And by the, I just wish she wouldn't have found the ring. I just
Yeah,
it got very CW and very silly.
Yeah.
The proposal at the end
Was great.
Was great, but it would have had a much bigger payoff had she not found the ring.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And basically, and because now it's like she forced him
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
ask her.
And it was such a throwaway
Yeah.
scene when she
Yeah.
was like, "You didn't think we could do this in this life?" And he was like, "Well, I mean, I thought maybe whatever." But then he proposed.
is that,
like,
is that your Stephen Amell impression?
yeah, that's my
Pretty spot on.
My other negative in this episode was that we saw multiple times in this episode Laurel as the Black Canary with her scream. I finally got to the point where I'm like, okay, I can accept that scream. But one of the excellent crew members here suggested that he was like, oh my God, it looks so terrible. And I agree. And I think that they need to add some CGI shockwaves coming out of her mouth
Sure.
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
otherwise it's just a person going. Yeah.
Everybody do it. You're like, Jesus.
Do you hear it? Do you hear it?
Do you hear it?
It's like that dog whistle.
So
you
yeah,
hear
like,
it, right?
let's throw some CGI on there.
Yeah.
Like some
I'm
sort of
with you. I
shockwave.
agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Because other than that, she's just screaming with a glow necklace.
Yeah, it just looks weird. Yeah.
Or life lock, whatever you want to call
All right, I think that will do it for our negatives and positives and overall impressions for this week's episode. Let's go into the Twitter questions, though, because we try to avoid some of our topics because I know you guys are asking us questions about it. So first question comes from John, who asked, Collider Arrow, so Damien's plan is to kill everyone using poisonous corn. What do you think his plan is?
Okay. I think
I'm gonna let you take this simply because I don't know what's going on. That looks like a big grow house.
I don't know what the hell is going on with that corn.
Yeah.
And it so weirded me out. But Michael and I came up with something in this episode when he was talking to the group of people. And there was an old man that was chastising him in that group.
Kinda like a Ben-
and they kept talking about Genesis. Genesis. And Michael and I here, we were like, okay, what in the DC universe is Genesis? And we came upon the new gods.
Oh yeah.
And we were like, okay, remember there was that device a couple weeks back, and
Yeah,
Michael
I thought it might have been Thanagarian.
Yeah, and then they didn't bring it up in the crossover, so we're like, okay, it can't be Thanagarian. Maybe it was a mother box. We had a Twitter question about that where somebody asked if it was a mother box, and now I kind of think that they may be right, and Michael and I kind of think that those 5 people might be new gods,
which would be crazy.
Which I know
is
nothing about.
insane for a show about a guy with a bow and arrow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't know anything
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
new gods.
You guys
This
have fun
side
on
of the
social
table
media.
has
Yeah.
no
We're
idea
just
what's
gonna
going
geek out for
on.
about 30
Yeah,
minutes.
Googling new gods.
DC
we're,
Wiki.
we're really excited about this. We don't know if it's possible, but their home planet is New Genesis.
Yes.
And I don't think on a
Now-
DC show you would mention Genesis without it having tying in somehow.
Question for the panel: is Phil Collins on this planet? That's my third music reference of the evening.
Oh, good lord! Oh, good lord!
Sorry, I was delayed.
Just rolling. But like we were talking about earlier, I don't know how you could do. There's so when we go to like the new gods. I mean,
Yeah.
that's huge.
Yes.
Maybe a little too big for a show like Arrow.
Okay.
Maybe Flash. We talked about maybe
Flash could probably pull it off.
But I mean, that's big. And I know, like, again, you guys watch the Batman versus Superman trailer. There are these things flying around. If you don't know what they are, I'm not going to spoil it for you. But if you know about the new gods, there's a good chance we know who they are. And so this would be a great way to kind of introduce the general public.
Yeah, get the people to understand the concept
Yes.
of the new gods before the movie universe takes a crack at it.
Yes.
Because the movie universe is only going to have 2 hours to explain to us, whereas Arrow could take 20 hours to explain it to us. And that's kind of a really
Yeah, that's out
way
there.
out there theory. But like as soon as we were starting to talk about that, we were like, oh my god. Could it be? Could it be? But
know.
corn, who the hell knows?
Okay,
So to answer your question, we have no idea.
We have no idea. Just hashtag it poisonous corn and start making up theories. You know? No, okay, so he said when he's walking through, it was like the air is much cleaner down here.
Yes.
Right? And he's kept talking about that algae that he was going to grow in the bay that was probably going to like poison the water supply and kill all the people. So maybe he's going to release like a toxic gas in the air that's going to kill everybody, and he can walk amongst his corn and survive. I don't know. That's just a thought I had.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's exactly
no
the
clue.
thought
I have no
I
idea.
had.
Guys, the
from
show was over. I just figured it out.
From the fans
Could it-
on this side that don't know anything about Genesis, that was exactly my
New
theory
gods.
too.
I mean,
New
do you
gods.
think like, could it be some tie into that weird cornfield in the X-Files movie? I mean, I don't know.
He's working in his crop circles. I have no idea.
I think it's as simple as Josh is explaining it. I think it's a poisonous gas that will release into the city, kill everyone that's there now, that's alive, cleanse the city of all the bad people Dark thinks lives in Star City right now, and then he could start anew and have a lot of corn and candy corn and all that good stuff too. Like,
I'm pretty sure candy corn isn't made of actual corn, but I like where your head is going.
Yes, the key to taking over the world, sucrose.
you just spoiled Santa for me right now. Okay, let's go to the next question, please. Leannis asks, do you really believe that Felicity is in the grave?
Okay, so we have to talk about the ending now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so the ending, the group of thugs, the ghost, shot so many bullets into that limo.
Light up that car.
Like everybody in that car should have been hit with like at least 20 bullets. Felicity got 1, Oliver got none, and Felicity looks like is bleeding out.
Yeah.
The next week teaser, and by the way,
Next week being January 20th.
or next week being January 20th.
Yeah,
Yes. And I got hit on this in the comments. Somebody was like, if it's in the teaser and you talk about it, it's a spoiler. Look, I'm not in the CW marketing department. If they put it out for the public to see, it's no longer a spoiler from me specifically.
Correct.
Thank you.
Yes.
In that teaser, they show Felicity in the hospital. It looks like it's pretty serious. And then they suddenly just cut to a shot of the grave.
Yep.
What do we think? Is she still in there?
If you've been watching TV your whole lives, you know this is a common trick used so many times. So when you see something like that, you got to be like, okay, it can't be
No,
her.
I
'Cause
agree.
I've said this before. It's Felicity's too obvious. Too obvious.
What's that smile for?
Oh,
Campea?
and what do you got?
Felicity is in the grave.
Oh, okay.
Zing.
Let's hear it. Why?
I don't know, because I'm that gullible CW fan that's like, yes. They just
Spoiler
showed me.
alert.
I think
they
you've just
showed
been
me
tricked by the
Felicity.
corn.
Yes.
That's what it
Been
is.
sniffing the corn.
Or brilliant
They
marketing.
showed me
Showed her all the
Felicity.
corn over
Yep.
here.
Then they showed the grave. So my mind is like, yes, Felicity is in the grave.
I think
What do you think,
I
Josh?
liked your theory, kind of, that they're going to say it's Felicity in the grave, but she's not going to be she's not going to be dead.
Yep, and I have something to add to that. Here's another crazy theory. I've multiple crazy theories. So if she is in the grave, she's not dead. It's like Sherlock on BBC. That's not a spoiler either. It's been out for like years.
If you're not watching in urinate.
Yeah. So she's not actually in the grave. Oliver is hiding her from Hive, and she spends the whole 5th season separated from the team. The whole team thinks she's dead, and he puts her on Lian Yu to tie back to the first season, also to tie into what should be our last year of flashbacks.
Yeah, I like that.
And I'm like, okay, it would be a little bit weird for Felicity to be off by herself, but if she was on Lian Yu, that would be such a cool full circle back to the first season.
Yeah.
That would totally throw off Damien. It's one of those things that it's genius.
And you said earlier, and I agree with you, like, I feel dumb that I never thought that the grave could be a fake out.
Exactly.
You know?
Well, and it wouldn't be the first time that we saw that the grave is empty, right?
Yeah.
Well, even the other thing is too is like Sarah spent a year in a grave and she's back now.
She's fine.
Exactly.
And she has her own show.
There's endless possibilities for Felicity to
And
still
you
be
get a
alive.
show, and you get a
Yes.
I mean, when's Moira coming back, right?
Please bring her back.
Yeah, I
I would
loved her,
love
actually. She was great.
Moira
Some
back.
bloodlust. I am on Moira. Wait, what?
Wait, hold on.
What? Can you edit that part out?
So Josh,
So,
Moira
and
or Mama Smoke?
oh, Mama Smoke.
Oh, that was easy. Okay, next question, please.
Moira. She's got money.
That's true.
Kelly asks, could it be that they're faking Felicity's death so she is off the Hive's radar?
Oh, Kelly
again.
Dixon.
Kelly, thank you.
Well,
Awesome
let's
theory.
throw out. Okay, you think Felicity's in the grave?
I'm just saying that because you guys all think she's not.
Oh, okay. But let's do you whatever character they put in that grave? Let's do it for all the characters on Arrow. Do you want them to actually be dead or fake dead to be off Hive's radar?
Well, like maybe do a top 5
Sure.
of who I think is in the grave
Sure,
and
go
who I
ahead.
would like to see be dead.
Yeah.
I guess. So Felicity,
Morbid.
if Felicity's in the grave, I hope she's not dead.
Okay.
My next one has always been Lance. I hope also he's not dead. Laurel would be 3. I would be okay if she was dead. 4 would be like an ancillary character, like Mr. Terrific.
His son?
Yeah, his son. Obviously, wouldn't hope those would be dead. And then I think 5, Thea's in the grave, and I would be okay if she died as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't have a pecking order, you guys. I think for me, what really
Did I just crush the morbid scale over here?
what is of value to me, quite honestly, is that a show that has the balls to kill somebody and keep them dead. Quite often you see that in CW where, like in Vampire Diaries and things like that, in the originals, where somebody dies and you're like heartbroken because this character has been in every season since you've started watching. And then next thing you know, they figure out a way to bring them back from the dead. And that, to me,
You
is
mean like
kind
we
of...
saw in Arrow this season?
Yes. And
Tommy's still
seriously,
dead.
take a chance.
Tommy's still
Tommy's
dead.
still
Yeah,
dead.
Yeah, Tommy is still dead,
Moira's
and that
still
hurt
dead.
me
Moira.
forever. Moira,
And Daddy
too.
Queen.
Dead Queen.
Yeah.
Still
Yeah,
dead, right?
so
Yeah.
do it
Right.
again. I think this show has done it before. They haven't done it in the past few seasons, and I would hate to lose anybody, but if they do, they should really make sure it's
I'm
definitive.
still holding fast to my guns that it's Lance. And Lance is actually dead.
I think I always just bounce back and forth between Felicity and Lance, but yeah.
But Thea, when you said Thea I think is my second choice.
Okay.
Well, the Thea thing gets tricky because I know last week I'd mentioned the possibility because we all know Roy's coming back.
Yeah.
And if he's coming back as Arsenal, yes, technically he's not Speedy. He's not, Oliver's sidekick anymore. But now that you have Arsenal, you have Speedy. Is that just too many, sidekicks? Do we think? Because the thing is, too, and like we were talking earlier, I think everybody has a purpose this season. I feel like this whole show as a whole is focused. I don't want anyone to die.
I mean, there's so many people in the team now. Before
Well,
you know,
you
it's gonna be like a
well,
Match.com
he-
meetup.
Yeah. Well, he has 3 sidekicks right now, if you think about it.
Yeah.
4 if you count Felicity.
And if
So-
Mr. Terrific ends up joining the team.
5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it's Thea, only because she has Daddy Merlin continuously backing her.
He's
And
always there in
I
a
have my
pinch.
trust in Daddy Merlin. He will protect her forever.
And I really like Thea this season a lot. Like I think she's really grown as a
She
character.
bounces. She dances for me.
Yeah, because I thought her scene with the pinky swears of Malcolm was so weak.
So
I was
weak.
like, where
That
did
was
that?
a weak scene.
And also,
I pinky swear, like
I-
she was flirting with him.
Yes, yeah. And I to me it seemed like that I don't know where that pinky swear came from.
Yeah.
But the pinky swear made it seem like she had not read the script and was just like, how do we get in the scene? Oh yeah, pinky swear.
like an SNL writer. So
Yeah.
just end it.
All right. So that will do it for our Twitter questions for this week. Let's go into, because it's the mid-season finale, let's talk about our predictions in terms of coming back on January 20th.
I've already given like 5. Do I get a pass
I
on this?
know. Do we have any others?
You're good.
We
Well,
know what the corn's going to do.
I'm actually really loving this whole fake out death, and I think we're going to figure out who's in the grave really soon.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, because I think if
How
it's
soon?
well, I'm gonna go maybe as soon as
February
second
6th?
episode after.
Second episode.
I think
okay.
because now the thing is, if it's a fake out death, you got to play around with that now. If let's say Felicity's dead, then have some fun with that. You know,
Okay.
you've got to like stretch it out. Like, you know, it's going to take time for her to go to Leanne Yu and then do whatever she's going to do over there. So I'd say you only have about like 6 months or so, and then you figure there's always like
Well,
weeks off
especially
and
if it's a
stuff.
fake out death, you think they would do something like, they would do like what you said, they'd kill him off soon, and they wouldn't reveal that they were actually alive till the finale.
Yes.
You know, so
Like
we'd
to
go,
the pu- yeah.
so we'd go like 8 episodes thinking this character was actually dead.
Yeah.
That'd be a big secret to keep for a long
I
time.
really feel
Yeah.
like they're gonna do it like 2 episodes before the season finale.
I kind of agree.
Yeah, I think
kinda
they're
agree with you.
really going to hold off to do it and then play that angle in season 5. But I guess predictions wise, I mean, Damien Dark's going to stay the big bad, and I think that those like that the old guy that you were saying or the new gods, obviously there's more to what he's doing in Star City than we've seen. I think that corn was just a tease. I'm really excited to see what he has on his like grand
Yeah,
plan.
I think that group is season 5. Whatever they're up to is the villain of season 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or the conflict of season
And he
5.
said like phase 4 is almost complete or whatever. Third Reich, phase 4. I mean, he's like he already made one Nazi reference. he's taking the world over.
And let's not forget again the possibility, and I mentioned this when we were watching the show, and it was kind of thrown out there before, that what if that's her dad? Damien, I mean.
Damien
Because-
Dark is Felicity's dad.
Yeah, what if that's her father? You know? That's
That would be
something kinda-
unfortunate.
I'd be
for
very
her.
surprised.
I'm surprised, but I'm throwing it out
It
there.
seems a
Yeah.
little too soapy, but
Yeah,
shows can sometimes be a soap opera.
It
Yeah,
could-
that is true.
They could twist it. For me, I just hope we find out more about this group that has just appeared, and I have no idea who they are. They could just be business people who are invested in what Dark's doing, or they could be more like Jason and Michael are speculating.
They could be donators.
Yeah, but
to the dark, cause.
I think the most important for me is that Oliver stays steady. I think they've perfected Oliver at this point in time. I think he's no longer whiny. He's the Oliver Queen that we've all been looking for. He has the strength. He has the motivation now.
And normal Oliver Queen outside of Green Arrow is actually a solid character, because like in the
Yes.
previous seasons it was like a facade, and now it's like a really solid character.
Yeah, I think Stephen Amell's done a great job of embodying the Oliver Queen that I have fallen in love with in the comics, and I think he's
Yeah.
really portrayed that on screen. I do hope that with Damien Darhk that he lasts longer than this season, and I think that's my fear, is that they've
No, I
taken a
think he's
lot
done.
of good villains.
Yeah.
And they've ended them in one season, and I think I love Damien Darhk. I think they can do so much with him that I hope they extend him past season 4 at least. That's it. That's all I got. So that will do it for the mid-season finale of season 4, episode 9. Thank you guys so much for joining us and chatting with us. Make sure to continue to tweet us using the hashtag Collider Arrow, as well as leave us a comment under this video and subscribe to Collider Video. Josh, let's start with you. Where can people follow you during this break?
I will be on New Genesis, hanging out with the new gods, learning
About
their ways.
corn.
Yeah, with the crazy corn. Yeah, you guys can follow me at Josh Macuga on Twitter and Instagram. I'm here, the Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., as well as The Walking Dead here on Collider, and my YouTube channel, Between the Sheets TV.
All right, Jason?
You can find me on Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram with @Jawin, JAWIIN. All kinds of crazy stuff over there, including my Comics for Soldiers drive that's still going strong. We're trying to get 10,000 comic books overseas for all the troops overseas. And just think about this, guys. We have a Green Arrow show. We have a Flash show. They're both great. This is a good time to be a comic fan.
Hell yeah. Michael?
Unlike Josh, you can find me on Apocalypse because I'm a bad seed. Look,
You're not a dark side?
Wait, yeah, you've never had one.
Dana?
January 20th, come back.
Well, I'm going to take this break off to think of something funny.
Got a lot of time.
I got some time to
You got
plan.
writer's room.
But you can find me on Twitter at Mr. Michael Alexis, also on Instagram at Mr. Michael Alexis 14. That's Mr. Michael Alexis 14, and with Josh on the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. recap show.
You guys can follow me at Campea. I will be spending the break listening to Savage Garden. So, you guys, again, continue to tweet us using the hashtag Collider Arrow, and we will be back on January 20th to come back and see who's in the grave. So until then, you guys, hood up.